I'm Jim Cramer, and welcome to my world.
You need to get in the game.
Farms are going to go out of business, and he's nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
I always like to say there's a bull market somewhere, and I promise
Mad money. You can't afford to miss it. Hey, I'm Cramer.
Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Other people want to make friends. I'm just trying to give you a little extra money here if I can. Look, the real thing about this show is to entertain you, educate you, and teach you. Okay, that's my job. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC. Sometimes you can just outthink this whole business. Sometimes other people can outthink it for you. And sometimes others tell you not to think at all. On a terrific day, when the Dow rose another 62 points, S&P vaulted 0.63%, NASDAQ rallied 0.76%, it's 0.76. I want you to take a moment, because I got to entice you back into stocks, those who've left, CDs, munis. I got to tell you how this all makes sense. I'm going to tell you about how stocks you can play on a hunch and be odds-on favorite to make money is something you can do at home. Stocks like John Deere, the putative leader in today's stock market, rallying $2.24 on a really robust quarter with fantastic farm equipment sales. My charitable trust, ActionAlersPlus.com, bought a ton of this stock a month ago off of a simple observation I am now about to explain. You see, I've been shopping with my buddy Haley so we could throw a big shindig down at the inn we own, the DeBarry, in honor of the certain Jets' victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, put aside for a moment how dead wrong we were on that action. Before the party, on a trip to ShopRite to get the goods needed to throw a decent bash, you know what I'm talking about. Doritos and Lay's, some cheddar, lots of celery. Of course, the wings, the drumstick kind, not the shriveled ones. Tons of Oscar Mayer, because we're not fancy people. Some pigs and blankets, lots of rolls and cold cuts. Some tomatoes, Little Marie's Calendar, blue cheese, and of course, Cheese Whiz, which we know will still be good even in the event of thermonuclear war. We get to the register, cash register. You know, we didn't try to get in that express lane. I don't do that with the 400 things. That's not my style. But anyway, we get to the register, and Haley and I are trying to figure out whether to bang the in for the bill when my partner realized he conveniently left the DeBarry in credit card with the wife, Ellen. So I said, hey, don't worry. I'll take care of it. And I pull out 2 Benjamins. Yes, I always carry a bunch of Benjamins because you know what? You never know when you might run into the woman on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Like her. Oh, doctor. Anyway, I hand the bills to the woman at the register while I'm kibitzing, and she says, excuse me, sir, but it's a little more than $300, not $200. All right, my eyes almost popped out of my head. You know, like the cartoon character, you know, like boing. Because I go all crimson. Because now everyone behind me and beside me on the line thinks I'm either cheap or stupid, right? I would have blanched if I knew what blanching is. So now we're frantically looking over what we bought, trying to figure out how in heck we could be off by more than $100. And every bit of the overage is the stuff that either grows in the ground or needs grains to eat. It's all correct. Nothing's mismarked. And I say to Hales, hey, forget taking the over. Forget giving the points. And mind you, I'm not allowed to gamble. Let's just bet the farm on the farm and what these farmers are going to do with their winnings. What do farmers do when they have money? What do you think they do when they have money? You know what they do? They go buy tractors! And that's something that's been going on for as long as they've been beating swords into plowshares, typically, of course, to save money on farm equipment. I said, people have to own Deere. Said it right there in the store. Deere. And what did Deere do? It reported an 18-wheeler kind of blowout quarter at 7 a.m. today. It was just that simple. There's no way, given these sky-high prices, that they weren't going to make a killing. There was no way. I mean, what was the deal? There was no way. So why didn't other people bet on Deere? Why was this stock able to go up so much even after everyone was supposed to know this? After having a pretty good run as investors realized at last, the future's still brighter than the past, like we've been saying almost every night on this show. It's simple. Either they've been brainwashed into thinking that ShopRite experiences, your own non-lying eyes, just can't guide your investments, that you have to be in a mutual fund or an index fund because your pea-brain's not smart enough to figure this stuff out on its own, or they stayed away because of articles like this one in this morning's Negative Street Journal. Earnings call puts Deere in the headlights. Deere in headlights. Anyway, this story's chock full of so many warnings that you would think you're made of milk, and Deere is radiation. Just a second, I'm going to make a little Hooters hot sauce sandwich out of this article, get some use out of it. Which is, you have any Swiss? Anyway, okay. Yeah, it's like radiation. Let's, hurting thyroid. Let's see what they fret over. Raw materials cost too high. Hot sauce there. Smaller farms mean smaller Deere machines, bad for margins. Higher emission standards. And of course, crop prices could crash and crash big. At some point, this genius writer opines high crop prices are going to lead to, lower crop prices. So look out below if you own shares of Deere. This is like saying, oh man, it's so bad that Green Bay won. Can you imagine how high the bar is now for Green Bay? Well, why didn't she just throw in locusts and hail and global warming and maybe the threat of a new Soviet-style 5-year plan employing horse-drawn grim reapers? All similarly brilliant reasons not to own this or any stock. See, it's warnings like this that make people too fearful to ever pull the trigger based on their own instincts. These articles sound so profound, so rigorous. Wow, yeah. They get that thing. The truth is that this kind of, on the one hand or the other hand, thinking, it comes at a tremendous cost to your wallet. It's called opportunity cost, and it is brutal. It's the cost of doing nothing. You make no money, nothing. So when you read an article like this one, you know it's agenda-ridden. The agenda being you can't make money. You can't make money with Deere. You can't make money with any stock. There's no penalty to writing that kind of story. If the stock goes up, ups, but if it goes down, genius! That's totally asymmetrical. I look at it like this. If I got banged that bad at that ShopRite and I didn't get my revenge from owning the chief beneficiary of those higher food prices simply because I got scared off by the faux worries that get paraded out by the press as surely as Macy's on Thanksgiving, then I would want to know who kept me from making that money. Because that person's the enemy of my portfolio, the enemy of your potential to build wealth. Now, you've heard of the slogan, capitalize from it. This is decapitalize from it. It's not just Deere that can pass on higher raw costs and charge full price for its merchandise. It's just easier to see because you're out there buying food. You don't buy copper and coal by bulk, but if you did, you know that Joy Global and Bucyrus International, the latter soon to be part of Caterpillar, have tremendous pricing power. They should be bought aggressively. They don't care about the raw materials costs. They're passing on the cost of their big machines. Or that oil company, so desperate to cash in on the high price of crude, they need drilling rigs badly. So a rig maker like National Oilwell Varco can raise prices for its goods with impunity. Here's the bottom line. If you want to try to make money instead of sitting on the sidelines, you got to recognize that sometimes this is merely a game of common sense. So steel yourself against those who advocate that you abdicated, as surely as the really mean Nazi sympathizing king abdicated to the stuttering good guy in Cramer fave The King's Speech. Oh, and by the way, I may have been a Benjamin short at the ShopRite, but my charitable trust made a boatload of Benjamins off Deere. Sweet revenge based on nothing more than an eye-popping bill and the common sense to take advantage of it. Bob in Ohio. Bob.
Jim, booyah from Canton, Ohio.
Booyah! Oh, Hall of Famer, what's going on?
Yeah. We own Treehouse stock and have done really well based on your recommendation.
Thank you.
And what I've been wondering is, with all this price inflation going on in commodities, how long should we keep this? Because I see these smart lady shoppers, they're comparing brands back and forth, but I guess, are they ever going to go back to the name brands, or with all this commodities going up, do you think they're going to stay in there?
You know, I went through the conference call. I was particularly worried because someone who had been one of the leaders at Treehouse had left the company, and I was concerned. So I went over the conference call pretty closely. And I feel still very convinced that Treehouse, like Perigo, are the answer for so many stores to be able to keep their costs down, because they make so much money on these brand, on their store brand products. So I'm not worried at all about Treehouse. It's a win. As a matter of fact, if Family Dollar had done even more of that, I think Family Dollar wouldn't have been susceptible to the takeover bid that it got from the Peltz family. I think you're in good hands with Treehouse, and I'm not that worried about the departure of the exec, although I do wish the CEO would come on the show and do a little reassuring and hand-holding. I don't think that's too much to ask. Let's go to Mike in Minnesota. Mike.
Booyah, Jim, Mike in Minnesota.
I had a feeling it was you. What's up?
I just want to ask you, HLF Herbalife, you've had them on the show before. They announced next week, the 22nd, up in Minnesota here, they've started these nutrition clubs. They're going crazy. I mean, it's just, and I think they're passing on 3% product increases. I don't think they're having a problem. I think they had their best year ever, and I just think, where are they going to go?
Look, I think Michael Johnson, we've been faithful to Michael Johnson since he first came on the show when people were attacking the stock for saying that it was some sort of scheme. He walked us through it. He walked us through the products. He walked us through the cash flow. He's been buying back stuff. Michael Johnson is bankable. He's one of the best execs we've ever had on. I would hold on to Herbalife. HLF is a buy here, and Johnson's a buy, too. Always welcome him on the show. Let's go to William in Texas, please. William.
Jim, what should I do with Baker Hughes Incorporated?
What you do? You hold on to it, partner. That stock is an up stock. See the OIH today, which is that index that takes the Schlumberger taking out its highs? Oh, man, I got to tell you. National Oil, Varco, NOV, Baker Hughes, they had a monster good quarter. I want to stay long that stock, meaning it's good. How about Jason in California, please, Jason? Jason.
Booyah from rainy Los Angeles, California.
And we got the edge on you today for the first time in our lives. What's up?
Marvell, Jim. I'm pulling my hair out over this one, and I don't have a lot of it left. It's got a low multiple. It's announcing new integrated chips and software. I bought in at 20. It's down. What's going on? What should I do?
My advice to you, partner, is get a buzz cut. It's the only way you're going to hold. It's going to be able to hide the ignorance of owning that stock, unfortunately. That company has not done well. But the reason is because they're levered to disk drives, and the world has gone flash. And so they're levered to the wrong products. I think they're terrific people. They do a good job, but they're in the wrong space, in the wrong time. And you know what? It's time. Just move on. We got a lot better stocks. ARM Holdings is better. Even NVIDIA, I told you I thought that I had enough of that one. So let's get rid of that Marvell. All right. After today's blowout quarter, yeah, John Deere tractor is darn sexy. But here's the moral of the story. Sometimes it's all about common sense. And you know what? We see common sense, and we smell it, and we know it. And this isn't common sense. Mad Money, be right back.
Coming up, full steam ahead.